I definitely think everybody's shifting away from that like sort of American farmhouse, very traditional white kitchens. Like I think people are getting braver and more adventurous. I'm really liking that people want to be themselves.
Yeah, and I've actually heard from a realtor friend that white kitchens actually now almost depreciate a project.
Wow.
Or a home that's for sale.
Fascinating.
That people are not looking for your standard white modern
Or
farmhouse
light gray.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Actually, light gray is unfortunately still doing very well.
Still doing well. It's
Millennial
doing well.
gray.
Millennial
gray.
Artists think embrace color, and I'm so happy to see more of it, and pattern and texture. I'm Alison Levasseur. I'm the Global Interiors and Garden Director at AD, and I'm so happy to be sitting here today with some of our New American Voices. New American Voices is an annual list put together by the editors at AD, a list that represents fresh names in the interior design world, names that we think you need to know today. So we have David of 417, we have Alexis and Leann of Chroma, we have Michael of Michael Hilal, and we have Hema of Sagrada. And we're so excited about the rugs that you've designed with AD's Ruggable collection. Hema, why don't you tell us a little bit about your inspiration for your beautiful rug?
Our rugs were inspired by what I've observed in India and Morocco, and just bringing that texture and that mix of color in, but in a more soothing palette.
Michael, you designed two great-looking rugs, two very different rugs. Will you please share with us a little bit about your inspiration?
Well, for the Mushroom Dream rug, we looked to Asian Art Deco and arts and crafts era rugs for inspiration.
And then yours feels so painterly and so artistic. Will you tell me about the inspiration of your rugs?
Absolutely. So much of our work, probably all of it, is largely inspired by art, by fine art and elements, stitching details and things in fashion. We started there. We always start there in addition to starting with our clients' inspirations. We're also interested in work by women and supporting that and celebrating that. And we looked at paintings by female artists from San Francisco, focusing local, and we were inspired by that. They're very colorful and painterly.
That's so appealing. I love that.
And Chroma's name is derived from art and color and saturation, so it really felt like it needed to weave its way into our textiles.
It shines in everything you do and how you present yourselves. So
yes, color.
And, delivers a lot of joy for everyone who gets to enjoy those environments that you all create. And David, I just love your joyful, maximalist animal kingdom, and would love to hear about the inspiration behind your magical rug.
Okay, yeah. And so for me, through my design and anything that I like to do, infusing a sense of joy and a sense of happy through design, through, like I said, anything is what is my goal. And so that's why you'll see a lot of color, a lot of texture, a lot of pattern. But I also wanted to make sure that I told the story of joy that my family and my ancestors got a chance to feel, not because the conditions necessarily were there for us to do so, but we created our joy. And it's kind of like a thing for us in our day-to-day lives. Not everything is going to be perfect, but it's how we look at things. And so it's kind of a reminder, but in a textile form, that everything in a day is going to be all right. So that's how I design my rugs.
That's great. Alexis, Leann, are there hard and fast rules for Chroma about how to use rugs?
Yes, there is. We always start with the rug as the canvas for the room, so the bigger, the better.
Yeah, typically 4 to 6 inches away from a wall is what we like to do.
For the rest of you, first of all, in my understanding, is the starting point of a scheme of a room the rug?
Yeah, as the canvas for the space, and we like to have all of the furniture be either on the rug or off the rug. So
Got it.
Yes.
No halfsies.
Got it. Hema, all the furniture on the rug, off the rug, or a mix?
I think on. I'm a big rug person too, and I love layering them. And so that's also what I was thinking about when I was designing ours, is like, I often layer, and so I'm like, well, how would these look together? Or what could we put on top or underneath? And so definitely I'm a big fan of like everything on the rug.
At AD, we think about showing homes, featuring homes, not only where people live, but where people love to live. And, you know, the velvet rope has come down. We show people in those rooms, you know, doing things that they would do, reading a book or playing with a dog or maybe even, you know, on a skateboard or riding a bicycle or whatever in the house, you know, cooking and doing the things that they do in their daily lives.
Part of our ethos is undesigned. You know, like we really look to curating and creating these beautiful spaces for clients, but I never want a client to walk into their home and to feel like, oh, well, we're not going to use this room, or we don't use these rooms. I want them to be able to use every space.
And enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's not a gallery, it's where you live.
Exactly.
So your sacred space where you live.
Yeah.
So
I think the days of unused rooms
I think they're
in
over.
the past.
I think that generation sort of.
that's a great trend.
Especially so many of us live in
Right.
cities
Cities,
where the
yeah.
idea
Right.
of having any kind of space that you didn't use on a daily basis
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yes. It's nuts.
I think even if you have a lot of space, the trend is to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goal is that you can go into that formal living room and live very informally. You can actually, again, just use those spaces.
Or make it an office or whatever you want it to be.
What are you seeing today as trends in the design world?
I definitely think everybody's shifting away from that like sort of American farmhouse, very traditional white kitchens. Like I think people are getting braver and more adventurous. I don't know if that's because of social media or I'm not sure, but at least all of our clients are kind of like, I want my house to look different, you know, or my space to be different. And I think people are getting braver. So I don't know that there's like a visual trend necessarily. There's certain tiles and like Zallige is never gonna go away. I think people are using a lot of things with texture, but I like that people are getting brave and not like, ooh, what is, you know, this one influencer on Instagram doing, or what is in Target? Like I think, no shade to any of that, like they're all wonderful influences, but I'm really liking that people wanna be themselves.
Yeah, and I've actually heard from a realtor friend that white kitchens actually now almost depreciate a project or a home that's for sale.
Fascinating.
That people are not looking for your standard white modern
Or light
farmhouse
gray.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Actually,
I
light
think
gray is unfortunately still doing very well.
Still doing well. It's
Millennial
doing well.
gray.
Millennial
gray.
Artistic embrace color, and I'm so happy to see more of it, and pattern and texture, and of course important to balance with negative space, right, and moments of calm and serenity. But I think there's always opportunity to bring in something more
Vibrant.
expressive, vibrant and expressive.
While I do love primary colors, we probably still use quite a bit more like muddier tones. So like a muddier green, a muddier blue, a muddier pink. It's just,
Earth tones.
I
your
feel like
palette.
it's just a bit softer on the
Yeah.
eye.
And
oftentimes.
timeless.
Yeah.
Right? With what we do with interiors, you do want to give it a little bit more thought than, say, the way that we can all engage in fashion, right? Where we can really experiment.
It's
And
not
the
so
following
permanent.
season,
Yeah. It's not so
exactly,
permanent.
we
Not
can
that
move on to
design is
something
permanent.
else. But you do want to come up with something timeless that can last for a longer period of time. It's a larger investment.
And that it's not a time capsule.
Yeah.
Right.
That it's of no time. It really does blend certain histories and trends.
I do often tell clients that like, look, expect to have this for maybe like 10 years. You're gonna get tired of it.
I agree. I give the
yeah.
10-year number too.
Yeah, 10 years, I
That's where
feel
your taste
like
evolves. A home is
yeah.
always
Yeah.
evolving.
Exactly.
Right. We love to recommend that our clients use the same hue, the same color of
all
paint
the way throughout.
on
Yeah.
the walls, the trim, and the ceilings.
Don't forget don't forget the lighting moldings, the lighting
The
trim.
molding.
Yes,
Yes.
the molding,
Yes.
trim, all of it, same color. And I think this is something I've been seeing more, that people are embracing more and more early on. in our career, it was a hard sell. It didn't
Ceilings
feel
and trim,
right.
People are afraid.
Afraid that it
Yeah.
will make a space feel dark and it'll make a space feel smaller. It does the exact opposite.
Yes.
It makes the space feel lighter and bigger, regardless of what color you choose, whether you choose a deeper, more saturated color. That consistency really opens up space. It's really amazing.
Is there something you can think of that's sort of the biggest thing you've convinced a client to do?
I would say wallpapering their ceiling. And just because, because people are thinking of wallpaper, just wall. But you have to think about the fifth wall, and it's another place for you to balance out the personality, because of course you can do it with a rug, and then it's a way to mirror that personality by going upward instead of necessarily horizontally. And so we did it, and well, I convinced them. And then they started, like the wallpaper started going up, and they're like, oh, no, we don't want, and we've already ordered it. So
Stick it out.
it's going up.
Just trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Just trust.
Like,
Just trust,
the
deep breaths. We can always remove.
Yeah.
And then when it happened though, and they walked in the next morning, they absolutely loved it and like sent a text message, like a little selfie of them like loving it. And so that's been the biggest thing, because putting
That's
in
the best.
personality,
Yeah.
it's a commitment, but it works.
It's a similar idea to the paint, the same on the walls and the ceiling. With the wallpaper, you can even do it with something patterned or very textured, and it has that same dreamy effect. It's really cool.
Just like stare up at it.
I think that's a trend.
Yeah.
Pay attention to
sure.
the ceiling.
For sure.
Yeah, address the ceiling.
Great point.
Stop ignoring the ceiling
Yeah. Is there something you've convinced a client to do that?
every day. Definitely painting the ceilings was a big one. We paint every ceiling now in our projects. I think also I've added like wood to ceilings. I do all kinds of crazy stuff on ceilings. And so literally convincing clients to think of the ceiling as a design element is always like my personal goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about window coverings. So working in the Bay Area, a lot of our clients have incredible views.
It's also very foggy.
And it's foggy, so people are conscious of light and maximizing it, and sensitive to that, concerned. And there is a fear of window coverings, blocking the view, preventing
Light to come through, yes.
The style of them. But we find that full, romantic, beautiful window coverings do the opposite. They really finish out a space. They frame the view. Even if you are removing the scale, you're limiting the scale of the view, you are still maximizing it by using window coverings.
Also, anything you can do to control light in a room, like I think window coverings help with that.
Right,
like
exactly.
You
You have
set the
more-
mood. You're not dependent on what the sun is doing outside.
Right.
There's nothing like a beautiful glow through a sheer.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think more decorative window coverings is a trend in design today? It's
Maybe we
coming
can,
back.
maybe we can start it now.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what everyone's doing and how y'all feel, but I love
Very full.
romantic, traditional
Treat
window coverings.
Really quirky windows, like maybe a skylight or
Definitely.
very
Yeah,
massive
decorative.
windows.
Fake it. There's so much you can do with valances and curtains and Romans and with
Even
our
if it's draped fabric or something that has a high texture and is maybe more transparent, and it just has a slight woven, highly textured linen, or could be something very interesting like a trim detail in leather, or it could be fringe. I mean, I think there's just so much you can play with.
and our love of fashion too. It's a natural
Dressing the windows.
Dressing the windows.
Yes.
dressing the floor. These are all things that you can add detailing to and
You
can
take
really
the
improve
window
the space.
and you times it by 3 to
Yeah.
4 if you want it really full. And that's the width of your window coverings. It really should be not a second afterthought. They need to be thick.
Substantial. They need to be something.
And it's a way to create a moment too, because like think
Yeah.
about it, like speaking from a content creation perspective. Of course, like a signature is like opening up the windows, and so everyone wants that little moment.
That
in the
drama.
morning, yeah, the drama. So you can,
Totally.
even if you're not a content creator and you just want to feel like I'm gonna conquer the day, you can start your own like personal TV show, and you open up the windows, and then that's it. Your day starts. And so, oh my God, dress the windows for real.
Where do you see, Michael, the future of design?
I think the design world is becoming a little bit more open-armed to more consumers than probably it had previously accommodated. Like oftentimes to get to a certain level of design, you're working with very select clients, that have very select budgets that not everyone has access to. That's why I think something like this collaboration with Ruggable is really fantastic, because it allows someone at a more affordable price point access to great design.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Michael. And it's so elevated, and to be working with all of you top professionals and the other new American voices who collaborated on this, I think it's just such a great collaboration. Well, thank you, David and Alexis and Leann and Michael and Hema, and thank you, Ruggable, and to all of you watching, thank you. We've had a lot of fun talking with you today.